This Kick streamer was facing federal charges after live streaming himself vandalizing a million-year-old landmark, and now he's bragging about it.
There you go.
How you doing, sir?
What's up?
How you doing? I'm Rich Gratz with Park Service. I'm here to talk to you about a few things today. You have your ID on you, sir?
Yeah. What seems to be the problem first?
So meet Ton Con No, better known as Crazy Ton on Kick. According to his bio on his channel, he's an IRL streamer who travels around the world to explore the wonders of our beautiful planet in his trusty Toyota Prius. However, his name has now made some headlines for defacing one of America's most iconic natural landmarks, but nothing more than an unofficial platform promotion stunt for Kick.com. So on January 5th, the guy decided to stream his visit to Arizona's Horseshoe Bend, part of the Grand Canyon. And if you're not familiar with Horseshoe Bend, it's an amazing natural formation that took 5 to 6 million years to create. The Colorado River carved it through sandstone for centuries, making it a nearly perfect horseshoe-shaped bend, which is why it's called that. It's one of the most photographed spots in the entire Grand Canyon and is on the bucket list for people all around the world. Now, while most people would be satisfied with taking pictures, enjoying the views, and maybe if you're a live streamer, just live streaming your experience there, that wasn't enough for Crazy Ton here, because he wanted to live stream himself carving Kick.com into the rock there.
Can you get a small piece of flat rock? You could sit it on counter and van as a hot plate to sit hot things or coffee.
Nope, but we could put Kick.com real quick. If it works out, let's see. Okay. That works.
Kimchi says, I guess it's better than drawing a piece.
There you go. Took a lot of work. There's a lot of work, chat.
He says this will be gone eventually, chat, not permanent.
Oh yeah, the rain will wash that away over time.
Yeah, so he carved that into some ancient sandstone. I think it'll take a little bit longer than what he anticipated there for it to be gone. I mean, this whole situation is just one big, why are you doing that, dude? He's like, obviously, this isn't even close to being like as serious of a crime as what I often cover here on this channel. But like the punishment he was facing honestly surprised me because I had no idea you can get in that kind of trouble for this kind of thing. So according to the official reports and court documents, they were very accurate by saying he carved a 36-inch long and 6-inch tall and a 1/4-inch deep sentence into the rock. And of course, he did all that while broadcasting it to about 3,600 viewers. And while he was live streaming, someone decided to call the park rangers on him. Because, you know, with so many of these live streamers, the viewers want to see them in hot water because that's what makes things interesting for them. It just seems like the whole meta and format on Kick.com IRL streaming is more on live streams himself doing the dumbest things possible. And the viewers are like, all right, let's get this moron in trouble for doing these things live. And then everyone just kind of sits here and is like, all right, let's see how that pans out. And things certainly panned out as a National Park Service ranger then showed up to confront him the next day about the vandalism. So as a lot of you guys know, I've been traveling a lot internationally recently for my videos. And the big problem I used to have was once I landed, I didn't have any data. So then I had to try to find some sort of telecom store to then go buy a SIM so then I could get data in whatever country I was in. And after a long flight, that was a miserable experience. I would rather watch paint dry on a wall than do that again. Thankfully, there's a massive solution to that problem, which is Saily, because now that I'm traveling, all I had to do was download Saily beforehand, buy the plan, and then once I arrive, I can just switch my SIM because it's an eSIM, so I don't even have to go to any store to physically pick up anything. So if you're going abroad this summer or anytime soon for work, Saily might be the perfect solution for you. So if you scan the QR code here, or click the link in the description down below and use code Atozy, you'll get 15% off. And with Saily, you immediately get access to over 190 different countries, which is basically all of them. And their data packages are priced so well that I know a lot of people, when they run out of data for the month, they end up going to Saily and then buy a couple of gigabytes of data to hold them over until the refill for the next month on their regular plan. Then to give you peace of mind while you're traveling, they also have 24/7 support, and you can get a full refund if you're not happy with their service. So if you're traveling this summer, feel free to scan the QR code here and check out Saily to get a great deal on the eSIM so you can use your phone abroad like you would here at home, and use code Atozy for 15% off of that. But without further ado, let's continue the video. So continuing the story, when confronted, this was his excuse.
What seems to be the problem first?
I'm here to talk to you about you defacing landscapes within the National Park Service. So yesterday, when you were at Horseshoe Bend, you were scratching Kick.com into the rocks.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
That is a federal offense, okay? You were also throwing rocks. Repeat the video.
Yeah. I didn't know you could. I didn't know you could do it. If I knew, I would even have done it.
Okay.
I saw other people thinking, I was like, oh, okay, I could do it.
Unfortunately, it is a common thing, but it is.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't even
Do
know.
you have your ID on you, sir?
Do you think he's being serious here, or is he just playing stupid? Like, did he genuinely not know, or did he just think it's not that serious? I used to live in Arizona for a few years, and I've been to the Grand Canyon quite a bit. And even if you don't see the signs that are all over the place saying, hey, don't carve in the rock, it's kind of a no-brainer that you don't carve kick.com into rock formations that are millions of years old. I guess you could argue that many rock formations are millions of years old, but let's not do this in our national parks. I mean, just this guy doing this on Kick, and especially engraving Kick into the rock, is just incredibly tone deaf. However, the vandalism at Horseshoe Bend is a problem because the entire area is protected by federal archaeology and historic preservation laws. And not only that, as I mentioned earlier, the article also states there's signs all around the area explicitly telling travelers not to carve into the sandstone because obviously defacing a natural feature in national parks is prohibited. According to the affidavit, he used significant effort to deepen the inscription into the rock by going over the area multiple times with force and friction. Usually, the National Park Services takes violations like this very seriously. For example, in 2020, when 3 men were banned from Yellowstone National Park after being caught cooking chicken in one of the thermal hot springs. Back then, the officer said it was illegal to touch or throw objects into the hot springs or other hydrothermal features in the park. So they were also sentenced to 2 years in probation, and they were also strictly banned from the park and fined between $500 and $1,200. And earlier in April, 2 tourists were also found guilty of damaging 140 million year old sandstone formations, but just in a harsher way than Crazy Town did most recently. This happened in Nevada's Lake Mead National Park, and they were both set to be sentenced on July 8th. The whole point of designating these areas as protected lands is to preserve them in their natural state, so everyone can enjoy these places without human intervention. That's why national parks often operate under a do not harm, do not leave a trace policy, so everyone can enjoy them for generations to come. But defacing national parks is considered a federal crime. Crazy Town could have faced up to a year in prison and $100,000 as fines as a maximum penalty, which is just absolutely wild because that is way more than I ever expected for the punishment to be. However, when he appeared in court on April 25th, he was fined just $350. So in perspective, that's less than parking in a handicapped spot in any large city here in the US.
Rock drawn gone wrong. Didn't go wrong at all. It went right. $350 fine.
So I guess he was pretty much fined exactly what I thought he would be. That risk, though, is crazy. But he then continues the stereotype that so many of these Kick IRL streamers are just absolute scumbags and continues to brag about how much he profited off of this whole incident.
Sponsors reached out to me to get me a van. So that $350 that the haters did for me actually got me over $30,000 to $50,000. Who the went wrong? It went right. You dumb mother. It went right. It didn't go left. It went right. Even the judge was like, what the is this? The judge in there was like, dude, she was like looking at me like, bro, I'm sorry you're going through this. Like, she even did look like, bro, I know there's other carvings on there, but you just were live streaming it. So we have to make you pay a fine. But she even looked like, I know there's tons of carvings on there.
Yeah, I mean, while the dude is incredibly tone deaf, he claims it all worked out in his favor. The risk of $100,000 as a fine, though, doesn't really seem worth it to me, but because, I mean, hey, you are simply gambling with what judge you get. But most likely, just like me, he probably had no idea of the potential fines and the prison time that he could have landed into by doing all of this. I mean, the bar has just been set so low for all these IRL streamers, and it just feels like carving some text into the Grand Canyon. That's probably like the lightest thing I've covered an IRL streamer do. Still, every time something like this happens, it doesn't really matter the scale, it just only reinforces the negative stereotypes about these content creators. But because of this guy, for years to come, Horseshoe Bend visitors will see Kick.com carved into the rock, which is why I guess we just can't have nice things anymore. But that was the story of how a Kick streamer managed to get federal charges from a dumb decision during a live stream. But if you're traveling this summer, again, feel free to check out Saley for a great deal on an eSIM so you can use your phone abroad just like you would at home, and use code Atozy for 15% off of that. But other than that, feel free to subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.